These assessments can make or break your grade, electives that can help lead to future careers, and some fantastically fake news and experiences of school we all share. All that and more on another episode of Wildcat News.
High school can be stressful enough for most of us. We have tests, clubs, sports, and college to worry about. So why are some students choosing to make their academic lives harder?
Over 1 million students take at least one AP class every year. AP stands for Advanced Placement, and these courses aim to mimic a college class, allowing passing students to receive college credit. In theory, students can get so much out of this. They could save money, add a notable achievement to their transcripts, and challenge themselves. But these classes are infamously hard, with less than 65% of students passing their finals, which ultimately decides whether or not you qualify for college credit. Warwick Valley High School offers a variety of AP classes, from science subjects to English. But with how challenging these courses are, why would anyone want to take one?
Well, I took AP World last year, and I dropped it. And I'm taking AP US History and Lang this year. Still yet to drop it, but I took it mostly, I didn't take it for like the prestigious title or anything. I took it mostly because people told me to, and so I could do a less year of college.
While many students do stick with the course throughout the whole year, it's not uncommon to see a few students drop out of this class. But why?
So I dropped out of an AP class. My class that I dropped out of was AP World, because I had like a lot of difficult classes that year. And honestly, I like history, but it's not what I want to do. Like I want to go into science, so I focused more on chemistry, which I had at the time, which was also a difficult class. So I dropped out. So
at Warwick Valley High School, the earliest AP course you can take is in your sophomore year. And it can be quite a shock for most students, as AP classes tend to be on an entirely different level, even compared to an honors class.
My first AP class was AP World History. I took it with Mr. O'Brien here when I was a sophomore. And I think to say that it was a little bit of a rude awakening was an understatement. I have always been the type of student who just didn't study. I will say that honestly. I would go into a class, I'd take it, I'd get like a 95, and I'd go, yeah, that's good enough for me. And I definitely think that the sheer amount of content in AP World, that kind of shocked me. You can't just breeze by it. You do have to pay attention to a degree. It's different from your regular classes. Just really, I can't emphasize enough the sheer volume of stuff you're going to have to know. You just kind of need a general gist of the world. And history has never been my favorite subject, so it was definitely pushed me a little bit to try a bit harder. But in the end, I'd say I did pretty well, and it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
A college course and a regular high school class are so different that to some, it may seem impossible to blend the two together. But how do teachers feel about taking up this burden?
So what it is like for me fitting a college course into a high school classroom is actually very enjoyable. And I have been teaching AP Lang for a few years now. I taught AP Lit at the beginning of my career. And I think it is very valuable for students who are college bound to have the experience of college courses, but on a lower, sort of low key in terms of, having the ability to meet every day in a high school setting versus in college where the class may be once or twice a week. The workload is much higher than a regular English class in school, so I think it helps with time management for our college-bound students. And for me, I only see the benefit of fitting AP classes into high school setting.
When students enroll in an AP class, they should expect to apply themselves, to be incredibly independent and be interested in inquiry, right? Be interested in the side of discovery, right? Finding things out for themselves and really engage in that level learning.
AP classes can seem intimidating, but you may just be able to handle them. You can always drop out if it's not right for you, so don't be afraid to try it. This is Matt Doherty from Wildcat News, signing off.
There are over 36 courses in the AP program. You expect them to be more rigorous than an honors class, but many are willing to take on the extra work.
While some AP students choose AP programs, others taking regular classes also have a lot on their plate. But one significant test may affect school life for a long time.
High schoolers all have different opinions on large-scale testing, but New York's high school level exams are slowly being canceled with our current pandemic changes. It's estimated that about 16% of college and high school students have high test anxiety and 18% have moderately high test anxiety. So why are tests so heavily given to high school students? Tests are used to provide a necessary amount of feedback to teachers to see how students can remember information. If tests were no longer given in schools, what would students want their mass grade to be made of?
So if I had to choose something to replace tests in the grade book, I think I would honestly do participation, because I feel like it has to be something like worthy of tests, and I think homework you could slip up, and if I slip up I wouldn't want that being as worthy of a test. But I can always do participation, and you know, that can be something small or something big, so I can do it every day. And it's a pretty easy grade to add too, so there's no stress from tests, but it's still something that I think many education centers value.
If I could change it, I'd say homework, because like right now the tests right now aren't that focused, and it's more based on your homework grade. So like if you do a test and you don't do so well, it's not affecting your grade that much, so you can always do homework to boost up your grade. But there's also the downside that like with homework, if you forget or miss like a huge assignment, it really brings down your grade. But if the teachers could always like do multiple assignments which are worth less points, but sooner or later they rack up a lot, and then your grades are like really good. So I'd say homework.
Most high schoolers' answers revolved around using class participation to get close to their grade.
If we were to drop test grades and testing in general in our classrooms, I believe that it would stop kids from just memorizing things for just testing and just actually help them learn them. In this, I believe we should replace the test grades with higher graded class participation and learning in the classroom, making sure understanding and the students are actually learning what they're being taught.
I believe instead of tests, we should be graded in class participation. It shows that you're more paying attention, you're being a part of the class, and you're understanding and learning and being a part of the conversation. To be a part of the conversation, you have to know what the conversation is. Where a test, you kind of just learn the information, take the test, forget about it later. While in active conversation, you're more likely to remember.
And during the final semester of school, having optional tests during this COVID season is one thing that students can look forward to. For Wildcat News, this is Riley Fusel.
Regions were canceled last year and are optional this year, but that doesn't stop students from experiencing test anxiety.
School may already be challenging enough, but this year, one part of our day seems to be tagging along home with us a lot more.
At Warwick Valley High School, homework is a crucial part of your grade because of the COVID-19 situation. Homework used to cost about 10 to 20% of your grade last school year, but at this time it has racked up to about 50% in most classes. This circumstance stresses students into completing your homework by the deadline, or else you'll lose points, so many people get stressed out. This makes many of us question, should our homework be valuable, or does it even play a role during the pandemic? Does the COVID-19 situation affect the value of homework? We'll be walking around the Wildcat High School to discover the answer behind this. WVCSD high school student Matt Doherty has had a different experience on how the amount of homework is affecting his life and school grades.
I think the pandemic has honestly increased the amount of homework I get. With our new schedule, we have a 2-day break in between some classes, and I think some teachers treat that as a bit of a weekend so they can assign more homework. But I'm sort of grateful for it because homework's weighted more this year, and it's kind of helping my average compared to like tests, which I may not do so well on, when I can submit it and just easily get 100.
About 1,200 students go to the Warwick Valley High School. Who knows how many of them value their homework or not? But that's not the only factor that COVID is affecting on homework. WVCSD teacher Allison Gray has something to say about if the pandemic is affecting the amount of homework they give.
I think the challenges that I faced this year with homework and assigning it for students is that students spend so much time on their devices, so much time being remote, that I don't want to then send them home and have them have to be on their computers or their Chromebooks even longer. So I definitely have shortened the length of the assignments for homework this year, but I also think that homework is necessary. So I do assign homework because I think extra practice outside of school is important, especially for when we return back to, normal school life and a normal day-to-day routine. So those are the most important things for me in terms of homework.
So it looks like the pandemic is affecting how students treat homework and how they evaluate them before the pandemic. I guess it has taught them a lesson to do their homework on time. This has been Andrew Pojek on Wildcat News.
If you want to learn more about how much your homework is worth in different classes, see your teacher for more information, or better yet, ask your dog for some help. The sound of music rings through the halls and the clacking of keyboards continue. Up next, after our break.
Family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Students stressed with exams and workloads, this program can help distract and give some form of entertainment for a long day at school.
Music is played almost everywhere, whether you're relaxing with friends or watching a concert in school or public. Music programs in school are a great place to learn and gain a new skill. Warwick Valley High School offers many music classes, such as chorus, orchestra, and band. With COVID, the music programs must all perform virtually. Students have been affected with the inability to perform for a live audience. Multiple students have had different opinions on how the restrictions have affected class and concert performance.
I think that COVID restrictions have affected the music program in that it's really difficult to hear all the people in your section, so it changes the way that you play. Nowadays, it's more one person on the meet plays and everyone else mutes and just plays along with them. So the feeling that you get when you're surrounded by people who just love to play music isn't really there as much anymore. And I found that to be very challenging, but I think it's also challenged all of the section leaders to really try their hardest and to really be a light for their section.
They're tolerable, but they're not ideal. We have to wear masks for chorus, and we have to be 6 feet apart, which is really hard to hear each other sing, so it's hard to blend and figure out your part in the songs. We try to get as close as we can to try and hear each other, but if we could take off the mask and move closer, that's the most ideal. We're not allowed to have concerts this year. We're trying to make one more toward the spring, summer. Socially distant, of course, and outside preferably, so that we can have people show up.
With students being affected by this, many music teachers as well had to adapt to a new way of learning and getting a performance ready for their students.
Well, it's been difficult, I'll say that, because in an ensemble like band, we're all playing together, making music together because we have all the parts, and when we're playing together, it makes the music or the arrangement. But since half the band for band rehearsals is virtual, and then half the band is here in the band room, it's very difficult because we don't hear the other parts. The same thing applies for the lesson groups also. Half the students are virtual, and unfortunately the technology is not there for us to play together with the students who are virtual having the microphones on. So we never get to hear the students who are virtual. Even though they can hear us play, we can't hear them play.
How has restrictions affected the music classes? It has been overwhelmingly effective. At the beginning of the year, we had students who had to be 12 feet apart with their masks on, and we're in a room where you can't hear each other. So for the entire first half of the year, we couldn't hear each other. When we went remote, it's just me singing at the students, and they have to stay muted because there's too much delay on the music when it comes out. So I haven't heard anybody sing until we finally came back after the holiday pause. Now that we're 6 feet apart, it's better, but we still can't hear each other. The masks are restricting when singing. They get in your mouth, they're harder to breathe with. We're working the best we can. If anything, students are super resilient and are able to roll with the punches. We're making music in the only way we know how, just muscling through, but the restrictions have been very difficult on music.
Music teachers are disappointed for their students for not being able to perform live. With other programs such as sports being able to have games with little restrictions, music programs have been stuck with the short end of the stick. With about 20% of students in the high school enrolled in music programs, the restrictions have deeply impacted learning and performance, with social distancing in rehearsals and concerts having to be pre-recorded before viewing. COVID has affected music classes, but students and teachers are constantly working to get ready for the moment when they can perform again on the stage. From Wildcat News, this is Erin Delamota.
Music programs have been very important to both students and teachers of the community, and students can't wait to return to normalcy.
Music classes can lead to a profession for many interested students. Warwick Valley High School also takes a new approach when preparing students for other careers.
The Career and Technical Education program offers students an opportunity to get a head start on life with classes like criminal justice, cosmetology, and video production. The teachers of these programs are professionals themselves and pass their knowledge and training down to the students that hope to do something similar in the future. How do these classes help students prepare for the future?
In career and technical education, we run our classrooms like a workplace runs. It's knowledge being given out, but it's more important about how that knowledge and skill is being applied, because ultimately that's what leads to employment.
Career technical education instructors bring in their personal experiences and brings in the outside world into the classroom, and also vice versa. I feel this is so important because here's where you develop critical thinking. Here's where you develop problem-solving skills, and also how to manage, how to resolve conflicts. There are times where you work with individuals you like or don't like, but for the most part, we all have to have a certain degree of respect for each other.
It's very beneficial for students to have teachers with the experience of doing what they hope to do in the future. It's also very important for students to do some hands-on learning. How do these students feel they're benefiting from this program?
I feel like this class benefits us because we're able to get our New York State license by the end of the time we graduate because we have all of our hours. It's super visual and hands-on, so it's easier for us to learn what to do instead of watching videos and trying to figure it out for ourselves. We help each other, and it's honestly overall just a really good time.
I think I'm benefiting a lot from the C-Tech program. It's just my first year, but it's clear to see that it's something special in Warwick. I mean, we have our own studio production here. We have our own video cameras, we have computers we can use. And our teacher, Mr. C, he worked in the industry for many years, and he's always dropping tidbits of knowledge from his work experience that I think could really help in the real world.
The team building and social skills you develop while in this program will be very beneficial to you in the future, and you will not regret joining the C-Tech program.
With C-Tech only available for juniors and seniors, freshmen and sophomore have plenty of time to browse the other electives to help prepare for a more dedicated course. Coming up next, we leave the future career paths for a little comedy and some fake news.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear. Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back to our news program, and I'm afraid our control room appears to be having technical problems. In the meantime, we have some fake news from the not Wildcat News Network to help to keep you in the loop. First, we have our reporter documenting a campground's grudge in Manhattan.
It's a beautiful day out here at Camp Half-Blood. Apollo was busy riding through the sky, obviously, and the day couldn't be better for our monthly game of Capture the Flag. Today, we have the legendary captains going up against each other, Annabeth Chase and Clarissa Leroux. These two have been having a grudge since my first year here, and they are currently tied in previous wins. They have both drafted their teams, and their roster isn't messing around. Let's cover the major players here. Annabeth has pulled in her boyfriend, Seaweed Brain, or better known as the Percy Jackson. Percy needs no introduction here. As the son of Poseidon and one of the demigods of the Prophecy of Seven, Clarice does have power couples of her own, though. Frank Jang and Hazel LaVisque are part of her team. Frank is a child of Mars, and Hazel is a child of Pluto. To round out the children of the big three, Clarice also has Jason Grace on her team. I personally can't wait to see the children of Poseidon and Zeus clash. Annabeth did try to argue that the people from Camp Jupiter should not be allowed to participate in Camp Half-Blood activities, but Dionysus' official position is that he does not care. The final major players come from Annabeth's team and are Nico D'Angelo and Will Salas. Nico is a child of Hades and seems reluctant to be here, while his boyfriend Will, a child of Apollo, could not look happier. I swear, he's always happy. So that's all you need to know for the Capture the Flag game today. Spots are still open on both teams if you'd like to sign up, but personally, I'm staying out of this grudge match. For WVTV, I'm Matt Doherty, back to you in the studio.
Those kids at the camp seem very powerful, but that certainly doesn't seem very realistic or safe.
Speaking of fighters, we have a reporter from the futuristic Pan Am, where a ceremony known as the Hunger Games is currently taking place.
I'm Riley Kupo, and I'm currently standing in the Capitol streets for the 74th Annual Hunger Games. As seen in our pre-show performance, the 12th district tributes are looking as promising as ever. This year, everyone in the Capitol seems to have their eyes on the girl in District 12. But here's your full list of tributes. The current question is, will she be the one to win? As we know, District 12 hasn't won since the 50th annual set of games. As always, the Capitol will be rooting for their district tributes, but as your annual game reporter, all biases are kept out of my updates to you. As always, this year's winner will receive income for the Capitol for life, a special status in their districts, and are allowed to live in the wealthiest part of their districts called the Victor's Village with their families. And until my next update, enjoy the Capitol preparation parties. For Not Warwick Valley TV, this is Riley Kupo reporting.
All the dehumanization, we wish good luck to all the districts and for a good matchup.
Next we have, we seem to be receiving a transmission from the moon? Well, let's bring it up on screen.
Hello and good morning. I'm Gavin Zimmerly from WVTV, and I'm reporting to you live from the moon. Thanks for tuning in this morning. It may be springtime for you, but things out here are really different. And now for the weather. The high temperature will be 260 degrees with a low of negative 282. The sky will be crystal clear with the high chance of meteor showers in the late afternoon. You may want to arrange your day accordingly. You wouldn't want to be caught out on that. Overall, it's going to be a rangy one today. You may want to pack another spacesuit just in case. Now for the weekend weather. This weekend is going to be a little hotter than normal. That's due to a solar flare expected to happen early Saturday morning. That weather should stay around until Sunday, so try to get out and enjoy that warm weather. That's all for the weather. For WVTV, I'm Gavin Zimmerly. Thanks for watching.
I suppose we should make sure we wear proper eyewear for the upcoming solar flare, though I wonder how he is breathing up there.
Now, for our last story, we have something tame to soothe your dear viewers.
Good morning and welcome to the Uneventful News Network. Today we are sending out our most boring reporter to a really common place.
Thanks, Stan. Jim here at the local supermarket. It seems they have just restocked the bread aisle with some raisin bread.
Whoa. Stop.
Oh, what?
That's too exciting.
Oh, sorry.
Don't apologize either. What are we? TMZ? Drama is way below us. We can't stoop down to their level and
Get views? Ratings, ads, healthcare benefits?
Well, we don't conform here. So what if sheeple want to indulge in thrilling drama and all that nonsense? Here at UNN, we're doing something different. We stick to this formula and all think the same because if we don't, then we are sellouts.
I mean, isn't that what other news networks do?
Shut up.
Look, I know your brother's a really successful news anchor, but I don't feel like taking out a loan to report about plain bread. It's not going to work out.
Well, you're stupid.
You're creating more drama than me. I just said they got raisin bread.
Well, we're scrapping this.
It's live.
You're fired.
We're hitting record viewership.
How many?
4.
Well, like I was saying, I hate you, Jim. You look so dumb. You're fired.
Well, it seems that the Not Wildcat News Network is offline, but don't go anywhere. Our main scheduled news program should be back and running right after this break.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Welcome back. As remote students are coming back to school, they must also face the challenges of a typical school day. While the academic difficulties never went away, the physical aspects are proving more daunting.
Is a strong factor for most things in our lives, and our classrooms are no exception. For a sufficient learning experience, a quality classroom is needed for sitting through a lesson or working on a project. Today, we will explore some of the features a classroom should have to keep kids comfortable, and ask some questions to students and teachers in the school about what they think about this. So for most schools, a classroom requires a few things to cover the minimum requirements for quality. They should have proper heating and cooling, desks and chairs, and if possible, windows to add some natural light. From there, schools can add on to make students feel more comfortable, such as cushioned seating, for technology, and even just making the room feel more alive with decorations. There are certainly a few things that can be done to help make things more comfortable for students. But what do students and the teachers think? Let's start off by asking my English teacher, Mrs. Slewinski.
I think it's really important now that we have this, state of the world with the pandemic creating a lack of connection between each other. We're supposed to keep our distance. It makes it kind of uncomfortable to be in spaces that are not your home these days. So to me, I think it's incredibly important for teachers to do their best to make their rooms comfortable for their students, because they're going to be spending so much time in here, and there still is kind of a lot of not fear about being in public spaces, but the pandemic has made us question our comfort levels in these public spaces. So I find it quite important to make it cozy and comfortable.
Interesting. Now let's ask a fellow classmate of mine, Brendan Rink, about what he thinks about this.
Well, I think it starts out with having the right teacher and, just making the student feel safe, because it's really important to a student's mental health to feel safe in a classroom. It motivates them to do better in class too as well.
I think we need to go back to my English teacher to ask her another question on this matter.
For me, my number one thing is my plants. I have lots of house plants around my apartment, and I think that it makes me feel really good to have them around and to have living things in my spaces. So I wanted to include plants as my decor. I also like to have things on the walls, specifically posters and memes and things I found online that I like looking at, and I try to put them in areas where my students can see them too.
Lastly, let's end things off by asking another one of my classmates, Connor O'Regan.
I think what makes a classroom comfortable to be in is, I think it has nice decor, some nice more than average seats, and comfortability. Not too plasticky, not too hard. Some of them it's hard to find those in, but I think also what's on the walls can help make a classroom less feel like sort sort of like not a prison, but like, you know, bring some life to the room, maybe some flowers, stuff like that can really help bring a classroom to life.
Overall, the comfort of classrooms is very important in learning, as it can be hard to sit through a long lesson when you're trying to fidget in your chair and desk, trying to stay comfortable so you can focus on your lesson. So if your classroom feels lacking in quality, perhaps you should mention it to your teacher. I'm Jarrett Mulqueen, and this is Wildcat News. Thank you all for watching.
A nice chair and some posters can make students feel more comfortable in a stressful environment, but it's hard to concentrate on an empty stomach.
Hunger negatively affects how you perform in the classroom, so our cafeteria makes sure to cook up something delicious for everyone.
When it comes to food, there's something we all like. In high school, one of the most popular things is lunch. Some students bring their lunch while others buy. Lunchtime is something special to teens. These teenagers who spend money in the cafeteria have some favorites.
Okay, so my favorite food to eat here in the high school is the chicken patty. It's great. It's not the best, but it's definitely better than most of the items. I usually like to put like mustard on it, like some nice mustard on my chicken patty. Makes it really nice and enjoyable. Oh, it's just so good.
It seems Eddie really enjoys the chicken. These other students have shared their cravings during the lunch hours.
That would probably have to be the cheeseburger and pizza bites. It's just I don't know, it's just a pretty good meal to have. It fills you up, and I'm able to take on my classes much better than if I had something smaller, like just a bag of chips or something.
Well, my favorite thing here at the Warwick Valley High School is the bagel bites, because they used to sell them a lot before the pandemic. And, you know, they're a good snack to eat during school.
At Warwick Valley High School, my favorite food to eat is probably salad. I like the salad. It's running season right now. We gotta stay healthy. Maybe have like a Kit Kat every once in a while, but you know, I really like the salad. Good stuff.
You've heard what these few teens like. Now for the cooks on the other side making the food.
Well, every day is different. Now with this pandemic, we do like there's cohort A, cohort B, so those 2 days are the same thing. And it depends on the day. We try to put out what the kids like the most. Usually it's mozzarella sticks, pizza bites, chicken, fries, burgers, spicy patties. That's pretty much it.
The dedication from the cafeteria workers are astonishing. You can really see they care about the students. Lunch is very important in school. Students and staff can agree on that, especially when you get to have your favorite meal. For Warwick Valley Television, this has been Brendan Rigg, signing off.
Daily, so students have as many options as possible. It's always fun to try new things.
School can be stressful at times, but there are many positive activities to make it worth all the effort.
Whether it's sitting in classrooms, eating lunch, taking tests, or doing all the homework, you can still find something to love about school if you try.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wildcat News from WVTV.
This is Erin Delamota
and Ariana Cruz.
Every day,
millions of people
are connecting.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences can make us stronger.